All right, so we are back. We're live with Mr. James Rink. Updates on the MedBeds 2025 and notes and information through back channels of when these MedBeds are coming out. Very exciting time right now. And with that being said, James, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Sean, for allowing me to come on here. Audience, can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
We have an in-studio audience.
Yes, we're getting hellos today.
Okay.
We do have an in-studio audience here actually today.
Hello, live stream audience. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Hopefully everyone's doing great here in 2025. Can you imagine we actually made it to 2025 without nuclear bombs dropping all over the place?
Yeah, that's a feat.
Like John Titor was saying. So here we are, positive timeline. And I've got some great information for you today. So this report was put together through help from my friend Catherine, and does everybody remember Adrian Espinoza on my Martin Luther King message? So this is a message from Donald J. Trump, and I am not the greatest Trump impersonator. So what I will do is I will attempt to talk like him using my own voice, okay? Okay. What's that?
I said very well done, sir.
Okay. Oh,
But
by the way,
these are
what does everybody think of my shirt? Make a
notes
be
and
back.
information through the back channels. Notes and information from the back channels
Okay.
and updates. Here we go, people. 2025.
So everybody, make America great again. This year, it's going to be huge. It's going to be a year of rebuilding, a year of restructuring. Believe me, it's going to be incredible. You can expect so many exciting things, just tremendous things coming your way this year. We are going to expand and grow as a nation like never before, not just here at home, but globally. I'm talking about making the United States a bigger, stronger world power. We're going to work on reshaping and restructuring the global economy into a golden age. Now, let me tell you something about the dollar. It's going to be stronger than ever before. My predecessor, well, let's be honest, they allowed inflation to spiral out of control. But under my leadership, we've got a plan, an amazing plan to fix it. This plan is going to benefit not just the United States, it's going to benefit the entire world. We're going to grow together, build together, and succeed together, with the United States leading the way, of course. I won, even though, is this going on YouTube?
It's on YouTube right now. Yeah.
Oh dear. I won, even though the VOTE, MACHINES are a complete joke. Everyone knows it. They can say whatever numbers they want, but we all know the truth. The public has always loved me, and I'm a hero to them. Just ask anyone. Kamala Harris, she's nothing more than a laughing hyena. She never stood a chance against me. Even if they FUDGED the numbers, which they did, I still won against her. Now let's talk about something big, huge actually, Greenland, Canada, and Panama. These are opportunities to acquire more land and give us an incredible military advantage. With Greenland, let me tell you, it's not just about the land, it's about the people. Right now, the people of Greenland don't have the opportunities to access wealth, or many of them are also drunks and lack hope for the future in their current predicament. Under my leadership, we're going to fix that. We're going to give them purpose, job, work, and real opportunities. Now, from a military perspective, acquiring Greenland would be a game changer for the United States. We'll expand our military presence, giving us better leverage in negotiations with nations like China and Russia. Those countries are trying to encroach into our military power, but under my watch, that's not going to happen. Justin Trudeau, what a complete disaster. Neglectful of his duties, he's a wimp, incompetent, and his liberal agenda has caused nothing but suffering for the Canadian people. They deserve better, much better. And let's be honest, Canada has not been able to produce a leader as great as me. I mean, I'm the best candidate, no contest. Now, Canada's economy has a direct impact on America. So we need to step in and take over. This new joint ventureship will benefit Americans and Canadians equally. Nothing is currently set in stone, but we have teams dedicated to discussing, evaluating, and analyzing the numbers to develop the best possible universal health coverage policy. As you know, Canadians get free healthcare. So we're carefully reviewing the similarities and differences between our health insurance programs and Canadian universal coverage to create a broader, more inclusive umbrella network. This is a collaborative effort, and we're focused on expanding healthcare benefits, not just for Americans, but for Canadians and even other nations as well. We don't have a release date yet. Rest assured, it's a work in progress, and we're committed to getting it right. Now, let's talk about the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal faces major trade deficits with the United States. It's a problem, but one we're going to fix. By acquiring better trade routes and networking reworking the global economy, we will ensure a stronger, more efficient system. This will be a tremendous acquisition for America trade. And let me tell you about China. They're encroaching everywhere, in Africa, in the Panama region, you name it, setting up bases. China's involvement in Panama is a concern, and we're not going to let it slide. That's why we're taking action. We're going to acquire more land, expand our presence globally, and secure America's dominance. We're building a vision for a world economy, one that works for us, not against us. In the future, we're working on debt relief. It's not going to be a full debt relief like you were hoping maybe under Nasara. So why? Because some people have already paid off their debts, and it wouldn't be fair to them. Instead, we're implementing a new expansive system that works for everyone, a system that fits the vision of a global economy. The old ways of doing things, outdated, gone. That's why we brought in great innovators like Elon Musk. His incredible vision, along with his advancements in robotics, artificial intelligence, and space technology, will be a forefront of this transformation. Under Project Moonbeam, we're advancing at an unprecedented rate. Over the next 4 years, you're going to see shocking progress, things you never thought possible. We're done babying people. It's time to face the truth and move forward into a bold, exciting future. We're restructuring everything. And let me tell you, the United States will evolve into something much greater. There's a lot of talk about a global takeover. Some people see this as us taking their lands, but that's not what it's about. What we're doing is restructuring the old systems into a new system, one that works for everyone, a system that's innovative and forward-thinking. This is why, I've got to go to the next page here. My pages are forward and back. Okay, let's go on here. Okay, so going back to Elon Musk, he's a vessel for accepting new ideas, brilliant, innovative, and someone the public trusts. And he's going to be put into a position of power to help usher in this change. With his help, he will help tell the public the truth and introduce new technologies and systems that will define the future. Now, let's talk about Washington, D.C. It's so corrupt, and everyone knows it. In the future, we may even see the capital of the United States move. It's something we're looking at. Elon Musk is doing incredible work in Texas, and we've also got established areas in New York City, including underground bases, that are going to play a huge role in the new economy. New York could very well become the hub of a new financial order. Yes, I'm very aware of the secret space program. We've been working with them for a very long time, And let me tell you, we've made tremendous progress. When I created the Space Force, it was a monumental step towards introducing the public to these groundbreaking projects that have existed for quite some time. Now, let's be honest, we're still figuring out the best way to finesse this, how to make it digestible to the public. This isn't something you just drop on people overnight. Do this. But we've been holding group meetings discussing exactly how to structure a disclosure in a way that's smooth, digestible, and most importantly, minimizes stress for the American people. The SSP members are some of our top agents, top tier, the best. And we're committed to making sure they are not ostracized or harmed in any way from the disclosure process. They've done incredible work and they deserve recognition and compensation. That's something we're working on, though it's complicated. We're still deciding how to set it up, but due to the complication matter, there's a because of the secrecy of these projects. So here's the big question. Do we leak information little by little or go full throttle? That's what we're debating right now. Both options have their challenges and we're being very strategic about it. Whatever we decide, it will be done in a way that benefits the American people, keeps the secret space program members safe, and ushers in a new era of understanding and progress. Now let's talk about med beds. Yes, we've got them. They're being used in private sectors in some military programs. But here's the thing. I know you're not gonna like this. We can't release them to the public just yet. There are nefarious forces that need to be dealt with first. We also need to ensure people's consciousness is at a high enough level to accept this incredible technology. Members of the secret space program will be among the first to access medbed technology, but our focus remains on stabilizing the global economy, ensuring that we have the right people, resources, and expertise to support this incredible advancement. When the time is right, and only when it's right, will we introduce this transformative technology to the public. You may even hear someone like Elon Musk share the news when that moment comes. Until then, rest assured, we are tirelessly working to create a brighter, stronger future for all. Many members of the Secret Space Program have been invited to my inauguration ceremony. Bring your cameras, post the videos online. The more exposure we get, the faster we can push disclosure forward. People will see the connection between the government and the super soldiers. James Rink, I got your letter. I wrote a letter in 2016 to Trump. I'll talk about it in just a bit. James Rink, I got your letter and I've listened to all of your videos on your channel. Let me tell you, I appreciate everything you're doing. I know you're part of the Secret Space Program, and I want you to know that I have deep respect for all SSP members. You're an important part of what we're building here. This is all part of the disclosure process, James. That's why I started Space Force, to make the public more aware of the presence of the Secret Space Program and to guide people towards a brighter future. We're working hard to restructure the world and move forward in a way that benefits everyone. You can tell your viewers this, I'm fully committed to making this a reality sooner rather than later. I'm putting my best efforts into this, restructuring everything, uniting people, and creating a future that we can all be proud of. Unity is coming. Big things are on the horizon, and we're going to lead everyone to a bright new world. Stay strong, and thank you for being part of this incredible journey. Thank you, James Rink. God bless all of you, and God bless the United States of America. Donald J. Trump.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay, well, so what does everybody think about that message?
I love it. That's
Okay.
awesome.
Yes.
I know in the title it said medbed specifically, but we can go into some more of that in just a bit. But this message was related to the recent inauguration in which I went to DC. However, the Capital One Center only had a capacity of 25,000 people, yet there was 600,000 people there to see the president. So the temperatures outside were hovering around 10 degrees Fahrenheit, and you had to show up at 3 o'clock in the morning in some cases to get inside. So I spent my time. Anyway, the point is, I had a great time. And if anybody has any questions, go ahead and.
So Riley is going to pull some questions off the chat. Anybody that's on there that's watching, if you have any questions you'd like to ask James, now would be the time to do it. And Riley will pull those off the comments. And
Okay, awesome. So we're gonna start. Guys, feel free to leave anything in the comments, any type of questions, any type of comments, any type of love that you have to share with James. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Give him as many thumbs up as you absolutely can. We appreciate that. So right there from Ro, James, why do they keep using excuses to hold up new technology?
That's a very good question. Yes.
good question.
I agree. They should just release it right now. However, there are a lot of nasty people out there in the world that need to. I don't know if I should. It's an operational game plan, but I'll give you a little hint. There's going to be mass arrest, and until that's done, we don't want them regenerated. So, unfortunately, I believe there should be a channel, a website put up, perhaps with all SSP members, a public database where they can get recognition and hopefully get compensation, as well as a website, all these what is there, like 5,500 patents that are suppressed under national security, 5,800 patents.
Yeah.
All those patents need to be released on a public website database for public disclosure. But until we have that switch pulled, we are in the situation that we are in.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for answering that.
That was answered the best way a politician could answer.
Absolutely, that was great. Okay, so then one of the other questions that we have is, where are med beds already in use?
There are facilities underground. I know one guy interviewed, he said they were under Fort Hood. They were given to the Army through the VIA, the Draco. There are facilities on the moon, also off-world. So in Warden, many of these ships have med bed facilities. But here on planet Earth, underground facilities, and Cheyenne Mountain would be another candidate.
Very awesome, awesome. And so our viewers don't have access to those med beds. Who has access to those med beds?
If you served in the secret space program, you've most likely been placed into a med bed. Certain politicians would have access. There's also cloning facilities. So very likely what you're seeing on television is just a show for the public consumption. So
James,
yes.
What do you think the timeline is for the public to get these med beds? When do you see that they're going to be released to the general public, and how is that technology going to be layered in? So when they do make those available, will they be made all at once? Will they start appearing in major metropolitan areas? When do you see the rollout, and how do you see that rollout kind of happening?
Very good question. So back in 2016, Peter the Insider has been a regular on my show, and he stated through the ASIO source, Alien Contact and Intelligence Organization, that the second half, second term of Trump's presidency, we will see the advanced technologies being released. So that times us to 2027. That's been confirmed to some of the regression work that I've done with some of my clients. We look into the future, and it looks like the med beds are rolled out around 27, and it takes about 4 years to heal everybody on the planet. So it's going to take some time.
Just what Rhonda said. She said, I know it will be a little bit shocking for people at first, but some of us have been prepared for it. No, it wasn't that one.
Okay.
It was the one that said, where'd it go?
I might have to use the mouse.
And then we have Andrew Basaggio, who has, through his father, in this time travel project working with Rumsfeld, would go from a facility, a CIA facility in New Jersey, where they would jump into the future. And looking at around 2035, they went to an office park facility. And what he stated is that there was jump rooms, ARCs, the aeronautical repositioning chambers that allowed you to teleport. It's about as common as the escalator is today. So a lot of these technologies start being rolled out, according to him, around 2028 to 2032. We make a tremendous leap in technology here on this planet.
Awesome.
So
Thank you, Alaya. She said you rock, James.
thank you too.
We had a comment from Brett
Yeah, special hello to Brett
out of Florida.
out of Florida.
Hey, Brett, how you doing?
All right, let's see. And then,
So that is another capability of the jump rooms. It's not just jumping to Mars, which takes hold on guys, somewhere between Mars would probably take about 15 minutes, but you can also jump into the future or into the past. The network goes all the way up to 2055,
that's the one.
if I'm not mistaken. So
And wasn't Elon Musk working on building and buildings and building, like getting Mars ready so that we can start going off planet, start living on Mars? I know we've talked about the atmosphere at Mars, that it is actually habitable.
yes.
And, you know, as the planet continues to grow and the population builds, we'll be starting to, you know, use more of our intergalactic space outside.
Yeah, well, you're gonna enjoy the climate of Earth better than Mars until it gets terraformed. But with that said, Mars is like a 12,000 feet altitude. The air, that's about what it's, and the temperature is around 50 degrees during the daytime, a lot colder at night. So I know like the Germans, they built some greenhouses on the surface, and all the plants froze at nighttime. So ultimately, all the facilities had to go underground. And that, I mean, that's just part of the environmental issues. So what I'm telling you right now, NASA's lying to you about the temperatures and the density of the air and all that. But what they are not also telling you is that there is flora and fauna on Mars. There is a type of tree, looks like a spruce tree. It grows. There are regions that are not as arid, and there's a spider-like life form that's about 12 foot tall, and they can outrun a human, especially in the lower oxygen environments. So typically you would get a it's like one of these oxygen inserts, like these breathing tubes. They give you more oxygen, so you can potentially maybe try to run to safety on the surface. Well, you don't want to be building out any facilities on the surface.
So James, when the med beds start rolling out, are they going to be presented and made available through the military, like military installations? Where is the access going to be set up for those to start being used, and how do you see that rolling into like the general healthcare system?
Yeah, well, I was always told they're going to build new structures. Now, I can't really tell you like the actual rollout, but in the future, they want to decommission all the hospitals, because many of these facilities are soul harvesting facilities where there's portals in there to capture the souls. So there's like a huge amount of negative energy underground bases below many hospitals. So they need to be deconstructed in new facilities based on sacred geometry to be part of these new healing centers. So in the future, to get healed is the equivalent called the cable repair guide. So yeah, so
will those facilities encompass like multiple different types of med beds? I know on some of the podcasts we've done, and from other reports, there's several different types. There's the holographic ones that regrow limbs. There's plasma-based ones, I believe, that do general healing, and then you have like the ones that where you're
celestial chambers.
Celestial chambers.
Rance, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are a variety of generations of med beds that will be introduced to the public. So the first generation model will be enough to regenerate limbs and basic health issues. And then as we go on, there will be another generation that will be able to heal your emotional issues. And then lastly, the celestial chamber. So those are more plasmatic, and they can potentially regenerate your body, change your gender. I know that's coming. There's a lot of different uses for that particular type of technology. But so yeah, let's just start off. Let's start healing people, and then we can eventually get these other rollouts and a lot of it's dependent on your own consciousness too. So a lot of people out there are not doing their own spiritual work to educate themselves. So when they go into med bed, they're going to get a smaller effect than people that are educating themselves. That's what I've been told. Yeah.
So James,
Conscious-based.
right. And thank you so much for being on the podcast today and getting this information out. One thing I'd also like to ask you, the medbed subject and the release of these free government medbeds, this has been talked about probably for at least 10 years. And there's been multiple people on YouTube and various social media that have set a date that said today's the day or next Tuesday's the day. We've had many people that have contacted us and say it's this date. There's actually people on YouTube that run channels about these free government med beds. They have set multiple dates over the last few years, none of which has been true. I want to circle back to the fact that, this is an ongoing battle kind of between light and dark, and the dark forces have really been in control. One thing that we talked about yesterday, the day before, is that if you cannot control your airspace and you've got thousands of drones flying overhead, there's a pretty good chance that you're not in control of the situation. And that's probably not an indication that the planet is ready for med beds, being that sort of sinister forces of some kind are still in the fight, so to speak. And so we've talked about that. We've talked about a lot of these release dates being set when at the time in the last 3 or 4 years where there's programs going on to put injections or do whatever, and you're going to get that in an arm, and then you're going to go down the street and jump in a med bed. That doesn't make any sense. So clearly, the negative entities that be and these negative agendas have to be cleaned out. You're definitely not going to go down the street and get that put in your arm, and then the same people are going to say, okay, down on this corner, jump in a med bed. That's just a lack of, in my opinion, a lack of common sense. However, there is a lot of hope, and with the future now being very bright, with Mr. Trump now being in the office, this is going to be accelerated at a very fast pace. I think we're going to see a lot of these negative situations being resolved. A lot of the positions of power, they're getting taken out, and we are going to see this really actually come to fruition. And I do believe, like you're saying, it will be in this term. It will be within the next maybe 12 to 24, maybe 36 months. So what do you see being some of the key elements that have to happen that'll be a signal that this, in fact, is now moving forward, and a lot of this sort of deep state, dark-rooted, nefarious type entities are starting to get cleaned out, and we're making the way now to get this release in place?
Well, you're going to see a mass arrest, the EBS. And then I was always told there was going to be something big happening in April 2025, perhaps related to start the releasement of some of the humanitarian funds. And that will not, I'm not talking about Nasara, I'm talking about a slow trickle of funds to determine to see how people will be able to handle some of this money. And eventually more and more funds will be released going to 26 and 27. So it's going to be a slow release, not like Nasara, or at least that's what I've been told. As far as so what else? What are this? Were you asking about, Sean?
Go ahead, Ryan.
All right. Well, so it looks like we have a few questions that just came up from Rhonda Sinclair. She says, "Will the med beds be able to help people with mental illness?"
Well, that would be the second generation med bed, works with the psyche. So the first gen, I don't think that's going to be doing too much with that. But so the answer is yes and no. But
Okay.
eventually.
And actually, James, I'd even like to talk about that for a second. With mental illness, a lot of times it's reprogramming the neurological system, and mental illness, many times mental illness in general is a frequency. You're in a low frequency vibration, and there are technologies out there. Anybody that is dealing with mental illness, there is a technology out right now called the theta chamber, THETA chamber, theta chamber. That is a technology. It is a med bed pod. It spins. It has many different modalities that are put in it. That is specifically there right now for helping with mental illness, helping with PTSD, and helping with chemical dependency. It's made from a company that has a 20+ year history. They're based out of Utah. There's a wellness consultant marketing company that's based out of Texas that represents the technology. It's been at the A4M. It's a very well-known technology, not to the mainstream. But if anybody's out there and they have mental health or mental health issues, look up Theta Chamber, THETA Chamber, and see if you can get access to that. That would be something right now that would be available as we are getting ready for the release of the free med beds.
So, all right. And then she asked her initial question, which was what we kind of touched on earlier and that we touched on the last video. And that was about regeneration of limbs. So, and you spoke on that.
Yeah, well, no, Dr. Bob Becker wrote a book on the body electric in which he discussed putting these silver electrical wires onto fingernails, and they were able to regenerate in some children. So what they did is they analyzed a salamander, and they found, of course, salamanders can regenerate limbs. And so by simulating the same properties, you could do it in a human. So we have technology now to do it, but obviously, you know, there's a medical and industrial pharmaceutical complex that doesn't want you to have anything regenerated. And the same thing applies to your age. There's technology that was released back in the 1960s. We can even go back even to Tesla with the Teslatron. But in the 1960s, Anton Priory was working on the magnetic Bordeaux machine, and that particular device was 3 stories tall. So, well, they needed to build one for a human would have to be 3 stories tall. So he was currently working with a size that could work on rats. And what they were doing is they could look into another timeline to find the perfect aura, a perfect health of that particular rat, and then they could overlay it into the current timeline, and that rat would regenerate. And that is not just healing the C word, also it could reverse the age. So Priory managed to get some investors to build a human-sized version, but one of his investors died under mysterious circumstances, and then the other investors got spooked, and then he died a few years later. So I believe that technology went into the Black Ops program. So we've had technology to do it, but unfortunately, we have an issue where we could easily become overpopulated. So there needs to be a plan in play to address that before we have regeneration technology.
Awesome, great answer. Okay. Are you familiar with Walter Reed? This was one of our questions.
Yes.
Walter Reed.
Yeah.
They said that he has med beds available. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah. So, I was used as a super soldier, and what I can tell you, at least what they did with me, is after you die on mission, they will place you in a med bed, wipe your memories. You could either be sent into the secret space program, or like Carrie Cassie discussed under the Heather material, there was an underground facility below Orlando where they were taking dead Iraqi soldiers, reanimating them, and then putting these wires into them that would create a state of 0 point where they would have express super psionic abilities. So what happened is one day her superiors put out a message that they wanted to take titanium bones and clone tissue over it. So all the other Iraqi reanimated soldiers were put to destruction. So they extracted omega-3, and that was sold as a pharmaceutical grade omega-3 for Merck Pharmaceuticals. So some of these military industrial complex companies need to be held accountable, obviously, for the things they've done. So yes, I wouldn't doubt that many these military hospitals have med beds, but they're not being used to heal the general. Many of them are veterans. They're being used for nefarious purposes, obviously. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay.
Awesome. And he asked if the places where the med beds are available is a military base.
Right. Yes. Right now, everything. Yes, everything. The secret space program is under military law. It is a military operation. So the average, obviously, civilian. I guess maybe if you go work with Elon Musk, maybe you could get access to outer space, but at the right cost.
So we got another question, and that asked if healing wands would be available in 2027. And either one of
Healing
you
wand?
can take that. I'm assuming they mean terahertz wand, which we have available right now.
Yeah, so I guess there is a lot of technology out there. The theta chamber, James, we were talking about Anton Prairie, and there's been a lot of scientists that have picked up the work of Anton Prairie, which primarily was plasma energy technology, which is spun into dual tube technology. And the dual tube technology is something that we have been very blessed to be able to represent and get our hands on. And dual tube technology is actually technology inscribed in hieroglyphics in pyramids in Egypt that's thousands of years old. So theoretically, it's actually being rediscovered. And there's a lot of the Tesla technology that Tesla was working on. If you study a lot of Tesla's work, if you study a lot of the people, James, like you were talking about with Anton Prairie, when they really start getting closer, they're really making progress. There's usually something that happens that abruptly changes the course of direction of that technology, making it out. However, being that we're working now on second, third generation scientists that are picking up the work, and it's being picked up and distributed throughout the planet. There is a lot of very powerful technology that's out there. We talked also yesterday on the podcast about the work of Dr. Sandra Rose Michael, who has very deep ties into the military, that has developed technology right now that a lot of military people have used. There's a lot of people out there now that obviously want med beds now, but the reality is that they're not there. So the next thing is, are there people in the world that are making technology? And we also acknowledged and talked about these big defense contractors who actually are the people producing a lot of these technologies. Some of them are made off planet, some are made on planet. But when you talk about a government med bed, anybody that's been to Washington, D.C. probably knows that there's no factory there producing a med bed. They're not doing that in the Senate. They're not doing that in the House of Representatives. And they're in fact doing what they do in the military and everywhere else. They're subcontracting defense contractors. So, James, with some of the technologies that you've seen, and I know that there's, is it Jared Rand? There's some people that are out there. Are there other technologies that you're aware of that people might have access to now? And do you want to talk a little bit about the work of Dr. Sandra Rose Michael?
So yeah, what's available now? You could get yourself a meditation cube to help yourself relax. Certainly, de-stressing yourself can help regenerate your body. But I've got a financial interest in that, but it does help you. So if you want to check that out, maybe I think it's my prop later. But so Dr. Sandra Michael Rose, that's at least that's out.
Yeah,
Sandra Michael Rose. So yeah, so I've known Sandra for about 10 years now, and the E system has a series of these computer displays, computer program that gives off scalar frequencies. So these different computer displays are in the different corners of the room, and when it meets in the middle, it creates a 0 point. So this 0 point helps calm the body down, de-stresses the body, and then you can start getting regenerative benefits. So it's a great technology. If you are able, there's many different centers all over the world now, and you can most likely find one nearby. So yeah, everybody support your local EE system center and look that up.
Speaking of, we're going there tonight.
We're actually going tonight
Yes.
to an EE system in Richmond, Virginia. We're actually going to be spending some time there. And the EE system, when it was developed, the first people using that actually were very high-ranking military people, because they knew the work that was being done, and that was very well guarded within the sort of the defense community. And so it's a very powerful technology. Many of these centers are very eager to work with military veterans. It's a very low-cost technology. Many times it can be used at a discount or even sometimes for free based on your personal situation. These facilities are independently owned and independently operated, but there's probably about 400 or 500 of them around the United States and around the world. I had calls a couple days ago from Ecuador, There's one now in Ecuador. There's a lot of those in Canada. They've made their way around. And James, like you said, what they're doing is they're focusing 4 lasers in a room. They hit in the middle. They create this massive scalar energy field. Anybody that's out there can research scalar energy, what that does, the benefits to the body, regrowing telomeres. The TV sets are throwing off photonic light energy, which is very good for all other different types of things. So this is a very powerful technology that's available right now. And, there's a lot of Tesla technology that's out there now.
And just to interrupt you real quick before you get into the Tesla technology, if you guys are enjoying this video, please like and subscribe, follow our YouTube channel, follow James's as well. And just don't forget to throw us a thumbs up and a like and subscribe. All right, go ahead.
Okay, well, with that commercial, thank you, Riley. O'Reilly. You got to have a Riley here to keep things moving. And James, thank you so much, because James has been a regular guest, and that brings up a great point. We have ongoing podcasts with James. And this is just one of many that we've been really lucky to have James on. And we cover a whole host of different subjects, and we're always doing updates and putting out new information. And James, we're getting to the 41-minute mark. So I guess we still have some time here. Is there anything also that you want to talk about that are related?
Yeah, here's a great question about the replicators. Someone's asking about.
Yeah, what about replicators? Rose said that.
Yes, so many years ago, I was told around 2055, we will stop using money. And the only way I can think of that is perhaps there is going to be some sort of replicator released, at least in the secret space, well, this Mars base that I was in the mess hall, they would serve Tang, and this they would convert your poop into food. So the replicator food is not that good, at least depending if you're an officer. Now, if you're an officer, you can get better quality, but typically fresh food is always much better for the body. So now, as far as using a replicator to maybe make a bunch of gold bars, so as you can see, the whole thing about taxation, all that's going to have to be going away, because we don't need to have a tax. We would probably don't even need to have a government, right, in the future, if we have these type of technologies, which will help liberate humanity. But right until we have that, we've got a lot more work to do. I know Jared Rand. I've talked to Jared, and the biggest flaw of this whole plan is he doesn't have a business plan. He says we're going to have replicators, which are going to produce the plasma beds. So ultimately, until we see what these new technologies are capable of, it's really hard to tell you what the economy or what our life will be like. But I think humanity will be liberated. I was told years ago that once the switch is pulled and humanity is liberated, it's going to take about over the next 8 years. Everybody's going to be partying. So we're going to party, and then eventually we're going to have to get back to rebuilding our planet. So you'll get healed, and then you can party. So I think someone was asking about your age, the age limit you could go down.
Oh, how many years? Yeah, go ahead. That's a great question. How far do you go down when you're doing age regression?
Okay, so you could take that person back down to a fetus if you wanted to. However, there's going to be restrictions, because what they found is as you reverse the age, that particular person also, the maturity level reverses back to that age. So we're not going to be bringing people back down to 21 years old for a male, right? Or 25 for a female. So it's going to be about around the age of 30, because the last thing we need is a bunch of people partying and no one's getting any work done, right? But and if you don't want to be that age, you have that option to maybe reverse a little bit, or you can yes. So
James, I've got it. So James, for anybody that's watching, James has actually been in programs where he's actually used these technologies. He's used the age regression technology. So this is something that he's physically actually been in and has used. And one question I had, James, is when you've used that technology, does it have a side effect? Are there side effects that come with that age regression?
That's a really good question. Yes. So in a previous show, I've discussed SuperTech DSF. I'll just briefly go into it in case somebody hasn't watched the SuperTech information. So SuperTech DSF William, he described how he was taken off of his toilet at the age of 6 from his house, and brought into the secret space program. He was given a German family at the Mars Academy at Ares Prima, and they gave him some injections, which increased his IQ 100 points, and then they were taking pictures of his body, his astral body. So they did that every week for the 20 years of service that he was in. At the end of his 20-year service, he was brought over to Gabriel, a German doctor, who told him that not all Germans are bad, and unfortunately, we're going to have to re-age you and send you back. So they placed him into a regen tank, and it takes about a week to reverse 10 years of your life. So you have to be restrained, and they take all those pictures and reverse it. Now, the problem is in the secret space program is that many of these assets, their bodies are reversed. However, their bones, their eyes, their brain, some of the different tissues of the body are not regenerated back to the age that they were taken. So we're finding many of these SSP assets have problems with their vision, or their immune systems are usually all messed up. Autoimmunity problems. We're finding issues with a lot of pain issues. And unfortunately, a lot of these assets were not really, they weren't given the treatment that they should have got when they were debriefed and sent back home. So that is a big problem.
That's a really great question. And that's something that, we really don't look at. We're looking obviously at the reversal part of it, which, like you had said, there's a certain amount of time that you can do that. You can maybe use that technology once, twice, maybe 3 times max. But after that, you just have to kind of ride it out at that point, because there does come a point in time where you can't keep recycling that back. The body eventually is not going to really allow that to keep going on.
Yeah, well, there is a limit of how many times you can be regenerated. But I mean, once you get to about 800 years old, I mean, you could choose what you want to do with your life at that point. Okay.
Can you see the questions? Because I can't see very well.
Welcome to USA Med. Okay.
Welcome to USA MedBed.
I can't wait to be 30 again. Thank you, Alaya. Is quantum biofeedback frequency similar to medbeds? You want to answer that, Sean?
I can't really give an intelligent answer to that. The biofeedback, and I know with some of the stuff we're working on the bioscanning technology, is based on evaluating and basically putting on technology on your ears that can go in through your central nervous system and look at every single marker in your body. So you're literally getting every part of your body, you're getting 3-dimensional imaging of all your organs, and every single part of it has dozens and dozens of biomarkers that are showing you the internal and external parts of your body. And then it's rating it from a 1 to 6, with 1 being the optimal, 6 being the least optimal. And then they run the scan, and it also goes through your DNA, your chromosomes, it goes through every part of your brain and everything. And once it's done, then it gives you a breakdown and analysis of that data. And then you can break down the data and see where the 6s are, where the 5s, the 4s, the 3s, the 2s, what have you. But what's really amazing about this technology, and this ties into the work of John Baxter with anti-aging down in Orlando, who we work with very closely, you can actually run the corrective frequency sets and then reverse back a lot of these numbers. So you can move 6s into 5s, 5s into 4s, and you can basically go through the process of improving all these different parts of the body. Now, that whole process, what John has done is he's created what he calls a Tesla chamber, which incorporates the hyperbaric chamber with plasma energy technology, with PEMF, with grounding, with sound acoustic frequency, with vibrational frequency, and through the hyperbaric with the oxygen, and simultaneously running the bioscan system. So you're getting the corrective frequencies, and the more modalities and the more frequencies, energies, and things that you encompass, obviously the higher, the better the outcome. But if we go back to Tesla and Tesla's work, one of his greatest sayings was, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think energy, frequency, and vibration. Then you understand that what John is doing down there is incorporating energy, frequency, and vibration in that modality. And so that is one piece of technology that's very powerful Down at that facility in Orlando, Florida, they've run over 6,000 people through there. The Celestial pod, which is right next to you here, that's a technology that's running 6 or 7 different modalities simultaneously. There's a lot of development with this technology, and although it's not open for discussion, that technology right now that John's working with, that we work with, is being used. It's being used in places that we can't discuss, but it's showing very good benefit. The beauty of the technology, the actual beauty of it, is that there's a clear before and after. So you can actually see what the scores were. You run these technologies, and then you can clearly see a before and after, and it's tangible, actual data, and it's not hyperbole. So that is another very important part of that whole piece. But the quantum, there's a lot of quantum bioscan technology. It's all amazing. I love it all. And there's a lot of great people, great scientists that are putting out a lot of great technology. And I just want to say personally, James, number one, I love you. Thanks for being on. And for all those people that are out there making that technology, thank you for you too, for the hard work and the thousands of hours, blood, sweat, and tears, living without maybe making, rent from time to time, but a lot of great technology coming out right now, and that's one of them.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. So does anybody have any other questions? How about we go, where does a person go to get, okay, no, skip that one. James, how about some of us that are working with God's energy and God's giving us gifts? So in the future, certainly we'll have the med beds, but there will be other modalities for healing. So don't limit yourself to just one option. So Sean, you'll have plenty of business. Don't worry about it. Many new healing
business doing something else, but it's all good. I mean, but the thing about it, people, the other thing that, James, you actually bring up a great point. The goal of the medbed technology certainly is obviously helping people that are messed up, no question. But the other part of it, which is a much bigger piece, is maintaining and staying in good health, and staying in good health for longer periods of time. And if you look now at a lot of these health and facilities, like we've got one, ACAC, which is here, James, right by us over where you're staying. They've got red light technology. They've got infrared saunas. They've got the cold bath. They've got a lot of technology at the fitness club, because people are figuring out we want to stay healthy. We want to live healthier, happier lives. So although this technology is great for helping people that are messed up, it's ideal for people that want to, stay healthy longer. And therefore, it's really not segmented to people that have serious health issues, although they're the ones normally that are obviously in the most dire need of some of that technology. But for anybody out there, this is technology that you should be using on a weekly, daily basis with different types that's out there now to maintain healthier, happier living.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to have an amazing future. It's going to be, you can almost say it's going to be like magic, because what we perceive as our reality, everything's going to be different. I would say maybe all of the history books will have to get thrown out, rejected as false narrative. We'll have, I know Andrew Visaggio mentioned that we're going to have the Coronavisor released to the public, meaning that your local public library will have a Coronavisor, and you can go there and actually watch the Declaration of Independence being read, or Valley Forge. I was just at Mount Vernon, but anyway, so no limitations. So if you want to learn more about the meditation cube, you can go to neologicaltech.com. That's neologicaltech.com. And this particular device has 6 pyramids inside. They all point inward inside of us towards, actually, I will show you instead of telling you, because it's a lot easier that way. So you have 6 of these pyramids based on the golden ratio of the pyramids in Egypt, Cheops, and they all point inside the cube like that. So in the center of the sphere is, this one has quartz sphere, but these units are all out of stock right now. So I do have some other units that have crystal skulls in them. So different crystals in this. There is actually copper inside this in the injection mold. So that all goes around here. And The pyramids represent the chi energy in the direction, the circle, and the two circles, one. So the chi is coming out of the pyramid and going up to the top. And that's just directing the chi energy around this way, and then have chi going around that way. And you would put this on your lap. Well, you would first put a pillow on your lap and then put this on your lap. And then you would activate it, device activating. Actually, let me close it up here so it doesn't fall apart in my lap here in front of everybody. Device activate increase. Device, we trust you completely. Device activate Stargate mode and automatic mode. So, and you just sit there for 11 minutes minimum a day, or I prefer to meditate 30 minutes twice a week. And if I don't meditate, at least that, what happens is I start feeling stressed out. So you just have to do it just a little bit at a time, and it'll help take out a lot of stress out of your body, help you feel good, and this will also help with your manifestations. So if you have natural abilities as it is, it will enhance that. So I know I had one lady said that her cue was talking to her, but I'm still waiting for mine to talk to me. But it all kind of depends. So go to neologicaltech.com and get yourself a copy of my book. It's 400 pages. It's about the secret space program, goes into some of my own missions, and you can learn. I have a little information there, not only just about the secret space program, about my own self-awakening.
What's your channel?
Oh yeah, good question. So
Yes.
My channel is Super Soldier Talk. Now, I was just on there today on Google, and I could not have, I was looking like 2 or 3 links. My YouTube channel is not showing up on Google. I know in the past it said that there was like misinformation on this link. So now they just don't show you the link. I see all my other interviews from like other channels. So, and I have 4 times the subscribers on YouTube than I do on Rumble, but I get more views on Rumble. So,
What's the channel on Rumble? Same?
Super Soldier Talk. Yes.
Super Soldier Talk.
And somebody's been trying to copy all my work there. So just look for the channel that has the most amount of subscribers, and that'll be mine.
Awesome.
So James, we're getting to the 1 hour mark. I think it's about time we wrap up this podcast. But before we go, is there anything you'd like to share with the viewing audience before we wrap up this call today?
I just want to wish everybody the best, because we're going to have an amazing future. I know, the extraterrestrials have referred or called this planet Shan, which means tears. We've had throughout history, humanity has either had money or happiness, but we've never had money and happiness. So in the future, we'll be willing to accept that we can be happy on this planet. So thank you all.
Awesome, James. Thank you so much once again. For anybody watching,
Yeah, we have work to do.
Yeah.
But we're gonna party soon.
That's right.
Wait,
For anybody,
The biggest party ever in Las Vegas when finally the disclosure comes.
I
So
love that.
just subscribe to my mailing list to find out.
Yeah, so and all the links from today's podcast will be down in the comments. And I'm going to put a lot of the modalities and technologies that we talked about. James's channel will be there. The link to the cube will be there, and all of James's information. So James, once again, James Rink, Super Soldier Talk. Thank you very much today.
See you later.
yeah. Awesome.